going through lands that were occupied by Native American tribes, and they're like, hey, you know what? You're going to walk on our land. You're going to give us food. You're going to give us something. We're going to have a trade because you're eating our grass. You're, you know,
well, you have to, yeah. And where the complaint was that Brown, you know, he took out this franchise and chose a toll for this road. But for a big chunk of it is he just followed the old Spanish Trail, did nothing. So people thought, wait a minute, this is a public road now. It's a, you know. But eventually he did have to do some blasting.
So the money did not, like how we have public works and stuff now, the money actually didn't go to maintaining the road and taking care of things. It just went to his pocket.
Well, it kind of did.
Yeah.
I mean, that was it. They basically, the state of California just wanted a road to go up to the mines. You know, you know, everybody's gonna make money somewhere along. So, yeah, I'll show you where the trail came through, the trail and the road, wagon road off. And also, that's where the old National Old Trails road, the early cars. They all follow the same route. And we can walk, just walk over the bridge.
Sure. Boy, we couldn't have picked a better day to go out.
I know. I kept looking. I was hoping that not going to rain. I know it rained. So walk over here, and this is kind of a.
I feel like I have to shout and attempt for an echo, but I hear nothing as is.
So basically, the wagon road, which followed the old Spanish Trail, meander right through here. So basically, you know, if you look at the way we came down, it went along here
and continued
around that way. Yeah.
But this is a creek now.
Yeah, well, it's always been a creek there, and you just dealt with it.
So if the ground is mushy and it's kind of quicksandy, it just is.
That just is. In fact, even the automobiles, parts of the road were covered with macadam. Other portions, like down here, I've never seen any, but the cars came out here. So if you were driving out here in 1920s, you'd be driving down there.
Maybe in water, or at least a trickle.
Yeah.
Well, right now there's no water running.
Yeah, I'd say a little bit of water. Well, I mean,
yeah, I wouldn't step in it. I'm pretty sure
it's
mush
mucky,
into it. Yeah.
This is 1903.
Mule train.
This is as close as I get. This is actually a survey party.
Okay.
And I've got the same one I got in this picture down this canyon. And
show me where it is.
Yeah, I will show you where it is. The only thing that's interesting is that you'll find out it looked like it was a reverse negative.
Oh,
because when you turn the page the way around, it makes more sense. But let's walk down. Let's walk down the road here. So. And Sheldon Stoddard was part of that group. He mentioned that some places, because it was in December. They're always arriving in December, it's like the Rousseaus. And it was cold, it had some snow, and they camped out just a short distance from here. And he mentioned that there's one point where the canyon walls were about 100 feet high. That's got to be that one there.
How do you think they estimated 100 feet?
Well,
I mean, I hear these questions as they're coming out of my mouth, but I also hear them about the Rousseau diary and her measurements.
Oh yeah, I wonder how they do that. You know what?
Well, they've got the odometer, but also her husband has a government land survey for 20 years at that point, civil engineering. He probably knows exactly how many footsteps it takes to make a mile.
I bet that's what it is. Yeah. So from here we can look. Yeah, so you're following this down there, and imagine, you're at the foot of that. That's the first time I came here was my father. I was probably about 15 years old.
Have you gone down it?
Oh, yeah, I've hiked down. Oh, yeah. And I remember we hiked down, we know at the time exactly where the hell we're going. But anyway, we saw this giant wall there, and that's cool. So this picture here.
Is it on the grassy part or down below? No, it'd have to be up here in order to get to the ground.
Yeah. So it's right somewhere.
I would say maybe over here.
Yeah, maybe it's a filled out angle. But it's well, it's pretty.
Don't let the snakes get you.
Yeah. Well, next month. Okay. April.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it looks closer to me.
Because they're right in there.
Yeah, I mean, certainly things change, but I don't know. And again, coming in December, I guess when where they came from in Iowa, there weren't to very many mountains, I don't think. Or any mountains.
Oh, I don't know. Well, she does comment about the prairies being very plain, appropriately named plains.
Yeah. Like coming out in December, I mean, there could be snow. I mean, quite often there's snow. And I know when the 1849 party came through with Stoddard, they mentioned they had snow.
Uh-huh.
And they came around the same time, December 17th. It was like almost like the same day, just 15 years earlier.
Well, I guess if you don't make that cutoff to get through the Mojave before it becomes a living hell.
That's right.
An inferno, then you have no other choice but to wait and then arrive in December.
Exactly.
You know, you make me think about the whole Nick Earp trying to keep to the 22 miles a day. They left Pella, Iowa towards the end, I would say it's the second half of May, which is already late in the season.
Yeah.
They should have left earlier in April, if not the end of March, even with their still
right.
So
they
they're
probably
already
thought
behind.
May was already late.
So he's like, we have to catch up. We have to close that gap.
Yeah. Well, as it was it in, they stayed like 2 or 3 weeks. Was it in Salt Lake City?
Oh, well, it depends on who you ask. Nick Earp says they were in Utah for 9 weeks.
Was that okay?
Sarah records only being in Corn Creek Settlement stayed for 4 weeks.
I mean, but but either way, they were there for several weeks.
Yes,
yeah. And it was because of the weather. Was it?
Yeah, they have to wait for the Mojave to come down in temperature. Yeah.
Next stop, we'll be back to where we parked, and then we'll go up the canyon.
Perfect.
And it'll be pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah. Let's go.
Okay. Really, this road here is part of Route 66 highway. Originally, it was over here. So these buildings, that's where we're standing right now. We're next to this monument. So if you're going northbound, these buildings would have been like right over here, right to the side here.
Right to where we're standing.
Right there. And then the original road was this way. Just the procession of all roads, and they keep changing.
Yeah.
In fact, just like the Cajon Road we're following earlier, when 1916 they rerouted the National Old Trails and built this way. Kind of where we're driving.
So the Historical Society is adding more signage to help for people to understand why it's important.
Basically, the signs that we're going to talk about, Camp Cajon, which was a campground that was established in 1919, and it lasted until 1938 when this big flood destroyed it. And basically, the camp was like from about here to where the freeway is.
Okay.
So actually, starting from here towards where McDonald's restaurant is, and on the side. So the kiosk we have shows the different buildings that were here, and it was pretty massive. It was quite massive.
Now, when you say Camp Cajon, we're not talking a military encampment. We're talking like a town.
Well, it was a camp. It was established by a man named William Bristol, who came for the dedication of this monument in 1917. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. He decided, well, that monument is to commemorate the pioneers coming through this canyon.
Okay.
And there's even an older monument on the other side of the freeway. Well, Bristol thought, well, automobile traffic was starting to become common. Let's have a campground to commemorate the motorists. So they came up with this campground. Basically, it was a rest stop for the motorists coming along the National Old Trails Road. And also, it was good for the people living in the San Bernardino Valley. They would come up here and they'd have picnics, and they had barbecues, and there were several buildings that were established. They would have social centers and clubs and that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. All right, so let's go up the canyon.
Okay, sounds good. All right. A little above this canyon, there's been a number of manos and matades, hand tools, because the indigenous tribes that were hunters and gatherers traditionally. I have not seen any petroglyphs at all, and I don't know if any of them have been found. And I'm only wondering if because of the Actually, I don't know. It's only out in the Mojave Desert you'll see a lot.
Might be something interesting for someone else to look up. And what's the name of this creek here?
This is known as Cleghorn. Well, not Cleghorn. Crowder Creek.
Okay.
And they named it after a rancher that lived out just above this canyon. This tells you a little about. That's going to, later on you can look at it. This tells you about the different pioneers that have come through here.
Okay.
So in 1806, it's the first documented traveler we know of. Father Zalvadea came through in 1806. He's looking for an extension of different mission. He's gone from Santa Barbara mission to San Gabriel.
Okay.
And he came through, and his travels document coming through this area right here. And the property was owned by San Manuel. It was owned by the San Bernardino County Museum Association. Now it's owned by San Manuel.
All right.
And prior to that, there were private ranches. And I knew the caretaker real well, so we were good friends. And so I was there all the time. He was finding stuff all the time. Flake rocks, obsidian, which there's no obsidian in this area. They're all through trading. Jedediah Smith was the first man to come through here, and first American citizen to come through. He came through in 1827, documented his travels here. After him, it became known as the Old Spanish Trail. It's the Mule Caravan Trail. They came the route that we're taking earlier. They came right through this canyon right here.
I can imagine taking a very high cart with large wheels, a small cart, and then the mules bringing it through, but not a prairie schooner.
No, right. But the Old Spanish Trail, they're all on mules. So mules can just hop over rocks.
Sure.
But in 1849, when Jefferson Hunt...
You want to see these rocks? They're pretty big.
Yeah, and all those flowers I melted. Anyway, when Hunt and he had 100... there were 100 wagons of gold seekers coming through. They followed the trail. Once they got to the beginning of this canyon, they realized this is not very good for wagons.
Yeah,
So they got to a point along this whole stretch here. You'll see this concept: rocks and boulders. So they had to get through.
Yeah.
It took them, a couple of months to get this far. So they wound up the smaller wagons. They would take the wheels off, and some of the people on the caravan would carry them.
Oh my gosh! Well, by then, hopefully, you're running out of supplies, and it's not so heavy.
Well, yeah, they might. Well, they're getting close.
Yeah.
They're getting
Okay.
You're right. But the larger wagons, they took the wheels off and they had to drag them over the rocks.
Oh my gosh!
And
I think of myself one of those rolling suitcases. I wouldn't even want to do that now.
So, and where they put them back together again was on the other side of the highway at the old Muscogee Abbot.
So that would take all day.
The pioneers call that area the Willows. There's a lot of willow trees and a lot of water. And so the pioneers camped there. And then from there, they went through what is now San Bernardino and went on to Los Angeles.
Wow.
So that was a picture. And that picture was taken in 1916.
It's an old Ford?
Yeah.
With its smooth tires.
Yeah.
That's not going to be a good ride.
So the wagons, okay, so when John Brown had his toll road, portions of the road, he didn't do anything to it. Here, he had to do something because obviously you can't, wagons are not going to make it. In fact, for a few years, they had another road they called it the West Cajon Valley on the other side of the highway here. And then when it was decided that Brown needed to build this road, make it a shorter distance to the gold mines, he had to do some work. So he did some dynamite blasting. And this really, the canyon walls would have been ending right the edge here.
Okay.
So that's why when Hunt and Sheldon Stoddard and those people, they had to go through there because this was not here. From here they went across the valley. They went from here to this bridge. Well, I guess a bridge.
And then they would have like a straight shot down.
It would have gone right through where the freeway is. And if we were to go on the other side of the freeway to that site, you'll see more of this macadam road there. And I can show. And also there's some portion you can see where the old wagon road was. So I went kind of curved down there, lowering across where the freeway is, went down the canyon where you came up. Eventually, we go to where Glen Helen Park is.
Oh, right.
The Martin Ranch.
Right, following the tree line.
Stop there, and then from there they followed. If you look at before we between DeVore, which is where Glen Helen Park is, there's a wash area there. And that's basically they followed that wash into San Bernardino.
That would have been a nice, easy finish.
easy finish.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for sharing this incredible piece of history and geology with me, and for bringing the Rousseau and the Pella Company stories to life. And I hope that everyone watching has really enjoyed this boots on the ground experience. And if you want to know more about the Pella Company, we'll put some information with the video to show you where you can find more information. Of course, Nick's been writing about them for 20 years?
About that.
20 years. And now Sarah Rousseau's diary is available to the public online, so anyone can read the complete account. Thank you so much
you're
again.
welcome. Thank you, Janelle. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure.
You've seen this before. This plant, the yerba, it's called yerba santa.
What's special about it?
If you chew it, it tastes kind of like a cough drop.
Ew.
I don't eat it, but the Indians. Lose my voice.
Maybe you need another one.
I know.